We know banks better than banks know themselves. I said it. Sounds a little bit arrogant. Don't mean it to be like that. I've written more than $500 million of loans. I've been doing this for more than 8 years. I've been in property and finance and business for more than 23 years now. And what I can tell you from what I've seen is that the staff at banks, they move around, okay? They're chasing after the best wage, and fair play to them. And I'm just going through my phone now, just trying to call a bank team member for some help. And I just realized that they've been with 2 other banks before this current bank that they're employed with. The same goes for credit assessors. What I'm finding and have found all along is that when we do our credit assessment, so we provide a big fat layer of assessment and compliance and due diligence and fiduciary care over what you would receive from a bank. That's the legal implications of the way that we are regulated. Important for you to know. By the time that our application has reached the bank, we've already done our assessments. We're expecting it to be approved. Okay. Now, I'm finding this on almost a weekly basis, particularly when we're doing a complex self-employed application where we've got multiple entities. We've got a proprietary limited. We've got a company. We've got a trust. We might have a family trust or a unit trust or some sort of structure, as well as having the 2 individuals, usually the mum and the dad, underneath those structures, right? Usually coming out of the trust. By the time the money is circulated back around and put over into one holding company, for example, and then comes out the other end, and there's some add backs and some bits and pieces, it gets very complicated. Often, they take hours to pull apart. I'm going to tell you that. They take hours to understand and hours to pull apart. I'm very good at it, okay? Part of that is because I'm running my own business and I need to assess myself, and I have a complex structure myself, so I understand that completely and in detail. I also spend a lot of time getting weird over numbers with accountants, which helps, okay? And I nerd out on that and I enjoy it. And what I'm finding is that because banks, they want to pay the least amount of money for the staff that they employ, they're using credit assessors that don't really know what they're looking at. So I'm lodging an application that's complex, and it's going to usually to the part of their assessment team which is responsible for assessing these complex transactions. And I'm saying that the client can borrow this much, and then the assessor is coming back and they're saying, no, I'm sorry, Brody, the deal doesn't work. We can only lend you this much. And then I'm going back and I'm explaining to them in detail how the calculator works, how the structure works, that I've spoken to the accountant, that no, they can't borrow 1.3. Okay, they're not limited to 1.3. They can borrow 1.7, or they can borrow 2.3, not the 1.9 that you say. Okay, because they're not including something, or they're missing out on how the accountant has engineered their affairs to work advantageously from a tax perspective for the client. Now I'm having to get myself into these debates that might last a week or 2 weeks, and going like this with, often with their credit coaches, until the credit coach, so I'm talking about the most senior person at whichever bank, is going, oh, okay, Brody, yeah, I'm sorry, the initial assessor got it wrong, the assessor's manager got it wrong, and now we're dealing with the credit coach, okay, so the most senior credit assessor at the bank, and they're going, oh, okay, yeah, sorry about that, we got it wrong. So if you are, here's the point of the story, if you are look, you're a businesswoman, I'm thinking off the top of my head now, consultants with complex affairs, you're dealing with a dentist now with 3 different entities, more business people who are, a gentleman who's a long-time client of mine, runs a terrific Mercedes-Benz workshop, excellent business, and there's I think 5 different corporate structures that we've had to pull apart to make it work for him. Okay, I'm on the phone to the accountant, understanding the deal, how it works. I'm on the phone to the client, understanding how he wants it to work for him, and then I'm going away and doing my calculations, and I'm sending that through to the lender, and they're going, we don't understand it, and I'm having to help them understand this application. So coming back around again, the reason why complex self-employed applicants want to deal with me is because I understand your shit. The people at the banks, they don't have the experience, they don't have the knowledge, often of their own systems and processes and calculators to assess you correctly. So if you're like, hey, speaking to this guy yesterday, oh, we just go to the bank because it's easier. Well, it's not easier, it's not quicker, and you have a much, much greater chance of the application being declined or not being assessed properly, because you don't have a career professional like me who's providing that very detailed, comprehensive, thorough assessment prior to the application being lodged. That's what we're here for. Okay, so if you're watching this and you have complex affairs, you have multiple different structures, you've got self-managed super fund, you've got all this stuff going on, and you're dealing directly with the bank because it's easy, because you've been there for a little while, whatever, okay? I understand that. You have a relationship with your CBA, your Westpac, your NAB, ANZ. It's usually the big, one of the big four. Oh, it's just easier. I know this person at the bank or whatever, the relationship manager, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about anyway. They talk bullshit basically to get the business. But if you are having trouble getting what you want from the lender that you're currently with, and you're 500 grand short or 600 grand short, or you feel that you should be able to borrow more, then contact me directly. Use the link in the description below to book a free 10-20 minute call with me. They usually stretch out a little bit longer if your affairs are complex. I can guarantee that I will give you a better, more thorough, more comprehensive assessment than any bank can, than any broker can. And dealing with a gentleman last week who has 5 investment properties, he went through 4 brokers. I've been speaking to him for a couple of years, mind you, and I said, mate, give it to me, I'll sort it out. And he gave it to me. He wanted to do the right thing, with some referrals from his accountant, etc. And all of these other brokers and the 3 banks that he was with cocked it up, okay? They didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and we did it, and we ended up lending him another $540,000 more, which was a huge deal for him. He couldn't believe it. He thought that we were talking shit, and I said, mate, this is what it is. I sent him the maths, sent him the calculators, and said, dude, this is what you're going to do. And he was like, wow, cool, got it approved, got it settled, and the construction on his new home has started. So to summarize, if you're self-employed, if you've got complex affairs, if you are in a relationship with a major bank and you're not getting the love, and you're getting frustrated, and you want someone to have a look at your lending for you, and you want a second opinion, use the link in the description below, book a call with me, and I'm pretty sure that myself and my team can help. Thanks for watching.